dealing with the Marvel Studios multiverse is only going to get more complex as we go forward. Now, of course, most people don't remember that initially, when we found out that the Multiverse of Madness would be a thing and the multiverse was cracking open to the entire MCU, it went Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness of May of 2021, followed by Spider-Man 3 in July of 2021. So the rollout made sense. You introduce the multiverse concept with Doctor Strange, and then it affects Spider-Man. But due to multiple delays, this had to be reshuffled. And now we learned that major delays in production and Doctor Strange caused an entire rewrite of the entire third act of Spider-Man. So this is certainly not unheard of or uncommon when it comes to Spider-Man at this point in the MCU. We know that originally Civil War did not include Spider-Man, and as they were working on refining the final drafts, Kevin Feige walked into the office, gave them the web, thwip noise, and said, "You guys got him, write Spider-Man in." So that's why we get as much Spider-Man as we do. We got one scene in the apartment, and then the battle, and then here's Homecoming, right? So that was a sort of, okay, we can fit this in here because we're still early on in development, and he's not a whole part of the film. Now, Tom Holland recently revealed that when it came to the third act, the shutdowns that Doctor Strange had to go through, losing the director, then of course having to be rewritten from the ground up and then come in after Spider-Man, they had to change the entire third act of Spider-Man because the Multiverse of Madness also had to go through major rewrites to make sure that what happens in one is also happening in the other, and one doesn't spoil the other, so things line up properly in a reverse order now. Now again, this whole thing makes sense. If you look at the original lineup, Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home. Okay, simple enough, right? You go crack open the multiverse and then it affects Spider-Man. Easy. But now you're saying, well, the multiverse will first now affect only Spider-Man, but then we're going to do the Multiverse of Madness. It's like, wait, boy, that's a little backwards, but again, they had to make do with what they had, with the time allowed for certain actors and contracts and appearances and things to fall into place. And he says that it was one of those things where once they found out, John Watts was just kind of like, well, I guess here we go. I was going to do this now. And that's probably how everybody felt, honestly, because we know that Doctor Strange went through multiple rewrites and a set of reshoots and shutdowns and new shoots and more reshoots coming up to fill in actors that haven't been available up until now. So things are definitely interesting in regards to how close Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3 are, because they seem to be sort of attached at the hip, almost like each film is a half of a story that you have to put together and then you get the complete picture. And I think that's probably how it's going to work ultimately. But again, it's just crazy to think that they're like, look, we got to delay our production, so rewrite your entire third act, because spoilers.